piece, but you play me like a clown and you fool, bitch. So just step back, or I'm mad that when I come down straight. I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. I'm back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a mean revolution machine. For what people stay, they sway. For today is good as any day. You'll feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises over the top. Don't cross the line, but you know it's mine. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll.
Okay. Liz is in the house. Hold on. I think you probably have an echo. Hold on. I'm working on it. Liz lights up. Liz lights up. Liz lights up. How come I can't hear Liz?
I'm talking. Can you hear me now?
I hear you. And there's Johnny Trash
good.
in the house. Hi. Hi, Johnny.
How was your weekend?
Oh, just lovely with this weather up and down. My back is just so happy.
Tell me about it.
With this weather. Oh. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not going to tell you about it because it sucks. It was the worst because my pain is killing me. The change in the weather is just awful for most cannabis patients that I know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm smoking vape salads. And I have them on my desk and I just all day, I'll pick one, smoke a couple hits, pick another one. But it's the only way because I got to sit here at this desk, and work. And I know what you're feeling.
Jim Miller has entered the studio.
Here we are. Hey, Mr. Miller.
What's up?
And he's got his keyboard. I think he's going to play a song for us.
Oh, no, it's always there.
Yep. Your legs are killing. Let's see. Yeah. I can't read who said that. My glasses suck.
Johnny Trash.
Johnny Trash. Hey, Johnny. My everything's killing me, but that's why we have weed.
Yeah, my everything hurts.
Yeah.
Well, damn, I'm best out of the three here. That's like a sad.
Listen, statement. if it doesn't hurt, it's broken.
If it doesn't hurt, it's numb or tingling.
I'm telling you, I got this Papa Duke's. It's a relief body oil. It's 1 to 3 CBD THC. It comes from California. And I love it. I've been using it on my arm because I got the nerve damage from the shingles. So I have to go to physical therapy, and you walk out feeling worse than when you walked in. And I've been using this, and it has been helping. It has been helping the pain.
Nice. Good.
It's a good company. They got lidocaine patches and shit. I think they're in New York as well. Their sister company, Heavy Hitters Cannabis, has just recently joined New Jersey. So I'm hoping they'll be able to bring the Papa Dukes around with it. But Heavy Hitters is a good brand. I have some of their Acapulco Gold. It's good shit.
Hell yeah.
So there was a vote today, Monday.
I didn't vote. I didn't get to vote. What happened?
Ted Cruz voted with a couple of Republicans, joining a dozen Democrats in a failed attempt to keep alive a spending bill to prevent the THC ban. So now the THC ban is back after that spending bill.
So who voted what?
Ted Cruz voted against the ban. So Ted Cruz is for the hemp bill. He likes hemp, apparently, Ted Cruz.
Well, it could help his state. That's how he's supposed to work, It shouldn't be on their own predilections. It has to do with, what's good for the people they serve. Just want to say it with a straight face.
Yeah.
That's right. It still rings in my head every now and then. I wish I knew his name. He was from, I believe, New Mexico. He ran on a platform of he was not going to be the status quo that everybody didn't want. And he stayed true to what he promised. But the thing is, bucking the system meant he didn't get any really valuable committee assignments. He got no bills passed. And that's what he got beat on 2 years later and was never heard from again. So, it's sort of like, I assume, a rude awakening when you get there, and it's not like you thought and the stuff you really don't know. I try to temper my disillusionment a little bit, and think that, I don't know. Yeah, it's been a strange week. I did keep up with stuff a little bit this week. So again, though, if I can't move the needle and there's nothing I can do, it's like a tsunami. You kind of want to know if you could get to higher ground, but at some point, it's just it's almost like spending my energy on things that can have an effect on the outcome. When all the other shit gets in my head, like, how can it not?
Uh-huh.
And then, so I try to get my dose of news not from spoken word by other people, because I get bothered by certain bipartisan inflections, the way everything's said, depending who's saying it, and then I get mad at whatever the closest thing to my home team is when they start embellishing something when they're so right, just saying it's serious without throwing unnecessary bipartisanship editorialization on something.
Uh-huh.
But I do like to sometime I forget what exactly the vein was, but it's sort of like pendulum swings both ways, and I don't know how people can keep forgetting that. You got to kind of gather at the middle when it's swinging. You got to strike right about then. It's like bullshit on both sides when it goes too far.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's time to smoke some weed.
yeah,
So Johnny Trash, he says the CRC needs to change the way they count concentrates on your.
Oh
84
God, yes.
1 gram of dabs should not count as 7 grams of flour off your limit.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah. And
100%.
where was the formula? It's like, show me the homework, people. Who made the
Yeah,
rule?
you
No,
got-
really. You don't just walk into class with an answer. Show me the one plant idea, Scooter. I mean, walk us through that.
if you want to buy a 2-gram vape, it's considered half an ounce. It's insane.
Again, you have people making up the rules that don't know how to make up the rules. They don't know the parameters. They don't, there are numbers to this thing that can be used when you're trying to come up with a comparison between what you would smoke and what you would eat or vape.
Oh, let's see.
These, by the way, probably are the good old days before there's a definitive way to establish how you are high, with all the limits.
Right.
And that so far there's nothing that can really do that with any real degree of confidence. Different as it affects everybody, and the
No, I get it.
metabolites remaining in your system for how long, and how does that compute?
So Johnny went through 84 grams of flour, and he has 9 days until his allotment renews because Johnny just dabs. Johnny does not do flowers. Johnny dabs. Johnny Trash is Johnny dabs.
Well, that's less smoke.
Yeah, I like.
Less smoke for the effect. It's always a good thing.
I mean, how come more potent more potent THC flour is more expensive? I noticed, which is
yeah.
Yeah,
you get different brands that you can pay $35 for an eighth, and others that you're paying $70
for an eighth.
Yeah,
An eighth of cannabis. That's
how much? No, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear no more.
$70 an eighth, Jim.
Who
would pay that? Oh, it's cookies, man. It's cookies. It's organically hand trimmed.
Well,
yourself.
Organically hand trimmed. There is something to be said for some upper end specialty grow, but it's nowhere near that.
Yeah, well, that's pretty common price.
Well, there's also varying degrees of the potency in oil, whether it be RSO or just whatever.
FSO.
Yeah, there's varying degrees with that, and the difference is definitely noticeable. So,
Alan Gordon says that Scutari is by blocking home grow, he's being a criminal. He's violating the Concrete Act omission, suspicious activity with the anti-money laundering law.
See, he's doing more than he's actually not blocking the bill per se. He's blocking a hearing for a bill. In other words, he's blocking the information that would lead to the understanding of what the bill is about, where people could then develop, by definition, a well-founded opinion, other than where do they get their information from, the echo chamber on the left or the right, or what somebody told them, or just the way they feel, that's it. To ask anybody what they think about a bill that hasn't had a hearing is a loaded question. I mean, it's wrong. What they should say is, I have no opinion because I haven't been able to avail myself of any information from a hearing by people I at least know, my colleagues in the Senate. So if I can talk to one of my colleagues on the Senate Health Committee, then I would have a good idea how I feel about the bill. But when the Senate president can spend 4 years blocking that information, thereby blocking the bill, that's censorship. That's censorship of information that's necessary. It's what they rely on. It's their best source of information on any bill is an informational hearing. You know, that's the technical name for it, an informational hearing. You know,
Mhm.
got self-descriptive, I would say. You know, so he's against the information being heard out loud where questions and answers could be asked of the people giving testimony by people from both sides of the aisle and both directions on this bill. It's like boggles my mind that we still I feel like I'm really alone sometimes in being the one freaking about it's the information. You know, it's not blocking the bill, you know.
Right.
I mean, it is, yes, of course, it's a roadblock to the bill, but that's like an abuse of power that he has to do that because he's not supposed to do it based on something like, oh, I don't know, maybe that if he blocks information on the medical cannabis home grow bill, then that'll stifle the natives on the adult side. Because in the beginning it was a huge outcry. I mean, when everybody realized, well, I didn't know that we wouldn't get home grow. Well, you know, my God, I wish I could have more sympathy for people who didn't know that. But this is New Jersey, you know, this is how New Jersey operates. So when it's going to be something that it gives you what information they need to on a referendum so you can vote on it, the devil's definitely in the details. And, you know, they weren't going to put up, oh, yeah, this doesn't include home grow on that. So it was up to people to be informed voters. And, you know, they weren't in many cases. And but the thing is, Scutaris would have a harder time blocking a medical bill, a healthcare bill, you know, because it's officially a healthcare bill, the medical one. And
Exactly.
all the information that would be heard about that, especially the information on why it shouldn't happen from the opposition, all of it would apply to adult home grow, just about all of it, so over 80%. So that if there was valid testimony on the medical bill, that's 1393, it would also be pertinent. It's the same information. So even though it doesn't apply directly to the adult use bill, yeah, it's the point being made. And that would also bolster a positive opinion amongst the legislators for that as well. You know, once the information that all these other states have it and we don't, we're the outlier state. Yeah, we're the outlier state. People don't even know that. Legislators, they don't know we are an outlier state, that there's other states doing this successfully and we're not. Holy crap. When's this bomb going to take effect? I'm feeling a little jumpy about this shit now. That's good though, right? Anyway. Yeah, I need to.
Jim, I saw you that you had some stuff saved up for Thanksgiving already. That's awesome.
No, already, man. That's 2 weeks and 2 days away. Already disappeared 2 weeks ago, I may say. But I'm on the ball. I owe you that. You do all the work, it seems, all the actual getting it done. If I can at least beat that drum. Yeah, that was from my younger brother. You know, it's sort of like, yeah, this time of year we're changing the bulk of clothes in the kids' closets and stuff, and they have stuff. Most people do, and then other stuff. And I'm gonna spread it around a little more. It's I don't know, the former hippie tribe. That was like people I could count on, you know. And now that it's a little more fractured, there still is access to my fine friends there. But, you know, I'm going to see if maybe when you think about it, if everybody just looked at things you're not going to wear again this year. You didn't wear it last year, you're not going to wear it again. You know, it's doesn't have to be, if people get together in their own little area, in their own area, you know, and commiserate over their Facebook presence, and they get a carload of stuff, and one person drive it out in the morning, you know, draw whoever gets the short straw, stop on by. But I can't impress upon people enough, and I'm not bullshitting them when I say that I've had the best Thanksgivings. If you have empathy, and in other words, a lot of people, it won't matter with the shit, but that enjoying a big meal, a good meal, and you know it's not going to be your last one of the week necessarily, when you know there's others that can't. And now with all the things going on nationally, there's a lot of people that are really nervous about stuff, and it's going to be Thanksgiving, you know. And that if you make a move in that direction and you know you've kind of taken stuff you're not really going to use in anyway, and somebody's going to be wearing that and be warm, and especially kid stuff, you know. And Lefty and me, we see it every year. The release,
Oh, I'm sure.
and I just feel like it's in danger of slipping away again when it's so easy. You know, I mean, I got 2 tables to bring. We're going to be in front of the State House, yeah.
We have a battery, so it's very easy to just move the.
You know, it's just like you never know when it's going to be the last one. I mean, we're not going to do this forever. So I like to treat the end of every year as, you know, like you never know. But we've been away from the State House for the entire time. We haven't had the backdrop of the State House, the second oldest or the oldest in the country, one of the two. So we've been not missing a background, but that one. And plus, where it's more concrete and less grass and dirt, it's easier to have somewhere to put things. In other words, you could put it right on concrete, boxes of things, not clothes necessarily, you know, but
Right.
I'll have 2 tables and a card table. So it's a start. And then it just kind of takes off as it does. And, you know, if it looks like there's going to be some participation beyond their own ranks in the media circle, you know, I would consider going down if there was something to how would you offer? A pop-up is nice, but I wouldn't be uncomfortable with some flyers or things posted, Thanksgiving giveaway at the State House, you know, whatever, just to give it a chance, because it is the night.
Post it on social media.
Yeah.
Put it on your Facebook, Instagram.
But the people that seem to stop by, you know, aren't on Facebook as much as
Right, but the people they know are.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and as soon as one person stops, the phones come out, man. They're on the phone. You got to get down here, man. You got to get down here. And you know, I know within any group there's somebody. You know, it's not uncommon for somebody to take as much as they can, rather as much as they need. And even that, though, we don't monitor. You know, we have not even come close to ever having this say, you know, don't take so much. It's about, you know, it's just as free as could be. And that's the fun part.
Do you get donations from like big companies? You know, like the toothpaste company, Procter and Gamble.
No. We never thought to do any of that. The Coalition for Medical Marijuana has donated a couple of $100 towards personal hygiene items, and Kathy. So, like, other than that, though, Brainy's Old World Market had the top spot there. The first one, you know.
You know, but a lot of these bigger companies, like Procter and Gamble,
I don't know.
They'll donate. They got plenty of stuff.
I know they would, you know. It's just that I'm very bad at this sort of thing. I'm not that kind of guy, you know. I don't get out in front like that that long.
It's an email. It's an email.
Yeah.
And then maybe a phone call.
So are you volunteering?
If I had the time.
No, I'm messing with you. You're
no, I don't give a shit.
No,
I don't give a shit. IDGAF, that's my life. I have no problem talking to people. I have no problem asking for shit. Not at all. That's why I've made it as far as I have in 6 months.
Oh, no, I mean, I can see that. It's like, it is definitely in your DNA, I mean, and I say that like, because it's not mine. I have things in my DNA other people don't have. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I gotta be good at that. And that stuff's fading fast though too. Right now is like nothing to do on a day. I mean, I have a keyboard, I have chores I need to do. There's always stuff, but when it isn't a doctor's appointment or I have to do something, anything, I'm happy. And then all of a sudden I realize, oh no, and then I'm, laying some stuff out to take the picture to put it on Facebook to try to, still.
Listen, when I
it's
have
been
days,
satisfying every year.
I get up in the morning and I have to sit like in my bed for like an hour to wake up and loosen.
Wow.
And that's when I'm like, okay, do I have to leave the house today? If I don't have to leave the house today, I ain't getting dressed. Stay in my pajamas. Or at least half my pajamas. The top half will be dressed because, inevitably I'll be doing something with the video. But and that's when I go through my social media and answer anything, look around, see if anything's new. And I have no idea where I was going with this, but I'm a stoner, and I actually was able to roll a pre-roll that I am not embarrassed to show you. It's when I don't go out, I don't get dressed. But if I have to go out, then I get dressed, obviously. And I try and work it so that if I have to go out, I can do a bunch of things in one day. Like today, I just got a package at the UPS store. And I really, really want it. My daughter's out. She's running some errands, so she's going to stop by and pick it up for me. So I didn't have to go out. So I didn't have to go get dressed.
Oh, well.
But with that said, it doesn't matter what you wear. You still, your wardrobe does not affect your brain.
No.
I used to hear that shit all the time. She works in her pajamas. Okay. Who gives a fuck? Job still gets done.
After COVID, we all did that.
Uh-huh.
I just like when I feel good enough and I have, whether it be a chore or something I want to do, but it's like I go into this incredible, I feel like a super drive, systematic. I mean, where every step, every motion feels so easy to access, where I can block out everything else. I mean, and really get to it. Not in a frenetic way, it's smooth. But
you just want to get in the zone.
Yeah, and it can be mowing the lawn. And I start doing these military about face with a lawnmower turns. I mean, if there was such a thing. In other words, and it has that little bit of power in the pull.
You were in the moment. You were in the moment.
Yeah, and when I can get
there.
I used to get that deck building because they built like really a shitload of decks over a 20-year period, just doing almost only that. And then, sometimes I'd be like by myself and working on something, and it was like making time stand still. It was like, it can't only be this time. But the thing about cannabis and our crew, when we had a crew doing that, was that we would do that together as 3 or 4 person crew and think, well, let's see if we can get this done by before 11 o'clock. And if it's like 20 to 11 and we're done, it's like, man, that's awesome. And then we wait till 11 o'clock, we goof off. We don't go right back to work. So we don't, but then that makes a day, it's like that carrot you're always chasing, and you get it for a little bit and then you run after it again. And that can be fun. But, that's the, because on the crew, cannabis played a very important part. And I think we all look back fondly thinking, I was the one we came up in the Stackwood there. I would get especially in my zone smoking in the morning. We get out there, and I would actually just stand there and kind of in my mind see what the end result, deconstruct it for over a 5 minute period. While Rick and Australian Paul and Brother Tom would also be doing what they start out doing.
Now, did you start from the end and work your way back?
Well, no,
backwards?
I see it and I look back. I don't know why it worked that way I mean, really quickly though. I mean, it was like
1, 2, 3.
Construct it for some reason, it would show me something that I would be able to take care of, and it would work much better if I'd already done this or that. But I might be standing there like 40, 50 feet from the back door like this, and somebody would open the door and say, Jim, and Rick would go, oh, like to them. And I'd hear it, but I'd discount it, and I'd just keep on. It was like my little cone of silence around me that while I did this and but I mean, it was fun because, we all like getting into the nuances being force of habit rather than discovery. Like, oh, look, this is quicker. This would be better. It was weird. It was like the only job I ever really liked, and it was when it was working for other people doing it, it just didn't work, Yeah, it was good.
Well, believe me, I know.
Well, when you're going to work for people directly and you're a carpenter and you're doing stuff, you can be a roofer and like the roof leaks, they're spending a couple of $1,000s. They don't get to hardly even see it. And it's like, thanks. It's not what they really wanted to spend money on. But when people get a deck, it'd be like everything's kind of up to date. Hey, honey, let's get a deck. Okay. And so it's for fun. What they want is, are you going to be able to do it? So being the people that said, most cases, if it was going to be done, and the 3 out of 4 would only take 3 or 4 days, 2 days, depending, and you would get a lot done. I forgot where I was going with that. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh man, this is pretty good, by the way. I'm going into, my zone where I should be listening rather than talking, probably.
Listen, I'm smoking this Rainbow Belts 3.0, and I am feeling good.
When people is like, what's your deposit? I don't take a deposit with people. They have materials list and the labor amount. So you pay for the materials and they get delivered to your house. They're yours. I have no right to take anything until we're all done. And then I take wood away as well as throw wood away, because I explain with wood you don't want to order just the exact right amount, because something that comes out ain't worth a shit. So you deal with that along the way, and everybody kind of gets it. And then when it's all done, you don't pay me until then. You walk around, when this is what you want, you pay me the rest. So basically, and they'd still say, well, how do I know once you start you're going to finish right away? And I'd be like, okay, let me make this simple. Once I get started, I want to get finished so I get paid, because you're holding all the cards.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like, and I'm going to do it good, because I'm not getting my money till I do what you need. And I've never got screwed. I did leave 2 jobs after doing the first day's work because I could feel it coming, and that's a surprise to a person.
Yeah.
So 52 3-foot deep by 1 foot wide holes with an auger in your house all day long. I'm not going to be coming back. Here's the plans for your deck. You owe me nothing. I'm not going to be doing your deck. And it'd be like, why? Because I don't trust you, and I think you're up to something, and I don't want to throw good time after bad. So the holes are right where they belong. It's going to make your next mark even give you a better price. It's just kind of fun knowing it. And you could tell by his reaction, yeah, I got him. That's good.
Well, speaking of trust issues,
Yes, please.
for many years we were at the State House during the Murphy administration, and we saw Governor Murphy once. He walked past a bunch of people in walkers and wheelchairs and cane. Tracy had 2 canes, and we said to the governor, "Come speak to us." And we literally talked to the back of his head as he walked past us. He wouldn't even stop to speak to us.
Or acknowledge you.
Nothing, not a peep. So
Was it a podcast?
yeah.
Or no?
So I'm
I don't
wondering if
remember.
we should do one more year just to see if Mikey Sherrill comes to the front door and comes and says hi or acknowledges us, or at least says, "Hey, we're going to do something about this," because Jeff Oaks never took Jeff Oaks was never taken under his wing, Murphy's wing. He had a chance to take him under his wing. He never did. Jeff Oaks would have gotten his ear and told him all the things that Murphy should have done, and Murphy never listened to Jeff. He listened to him because he had to listen at a town meeting, but he didn't follow up and really give a crap about people suffering. So I'm hoping Mikey Sherrill will stop by the podcast next year. I'm going to do it one more year and see if she stops by. I have hope for her. I probably shouldn't, but I do. I hope she comes to the front door like Governor Christie used to do.
Oh, he used to come and talk?
Yeah. Not talk, but he would at least acknowledge us and at least walk through the cones a couple times.
Look, she had the right things to say towards the end of the campaign.
They all do.
Yeah, I know, but she's the one that got elected, and now she has a chance to really do something.
Put her money where her mouth is.
Yeah, but what she has a chance to do is break the Scutari blockade or say she agrees with it. One of the two. Which is it? And I don't think she's in a position to do anything other than convince him it's time to let go of the rope. So I have almost completely prepared summation that's pretty short and sweet, but will let her understand where that is and why it's about information. And he's actually said there's no will in the Senate to pass this bill. And there shouldn't be will in the Senate to pass a bill that hasn't been heard. I think that means that they're doing their job in not offering opinions. But there's a difference between there's no will to pass it and there's people who don't like it or wouldn't want to pass it. But then again, doesn't matter till after the hearing. And when I say the hearing, of course, that means that there needs to be one.
Right.
And to say, he cannot he cannot allow it to come up for a vote. He doesn't have to do that.
Right.
So it just reeks of void. If he can stop the vote, it comes out, it gets heard in committee, it gets referred out of committee, and then he doesn't allow it to be posted for a vote. That's more of his Senate prerogative that I would expect him to use. But I think it's just that he knows, that sounds like stopping a vote. Yeah, right. That's what you'd have to say. Stopping a hearing doesn't somehow sound as bad, or he can skate by that. It's been 4 years. That's obscene. I mean, it's absolutely obscene. 4 years. And this is its fourth session. When January happens, it'll be starting its fourth session because it came out in March of 2021, and it went through 22, 23, and now 24, 25. Boom, fourth session without getting an initial vote. It's a healthcare bill. Right there. It should get a vote.
Mm-hmm.
So, you see, Mikey Sherrill's going to hear that different because she was concerned with federal things, and now she's made this switch to the government of the state she lives in. which is different than bringing the state's concerns to the federal level. So this is a nuance, whatever she knows about it. I think if we just do a simple front door approach, we might be surprised, and then again, might not. So,
I wonder if she likes Rattari.
I was just thinking the same thing. You're like a mind reader. Really, it's. There's a lot of people that don't, that are advocates.
She's a woman, and I'm sure she knows the inside story about why Scutari's ex-wife started a club for battered women.
Yeah.
So that you can read into that all you want.
Yeah, I wouldn't even hint of that though when talking to her. I mean, that if she knows that, that's good. But it's
maybe she don't like them.
It's sick people. You are an access organization, a disability access organization. I would say I would be reluctant to say you're a handicap accessibility access organization 50%, and a cannabis access organization the other 50%. It really seems to be that way, and so for that alone, she's got to have somebody find out a little something for her. I mean, I'm sure she's going to have people, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? So, yeah, I'd like to definitely work out something, an approach that we can start any time, because, she got people doing the transition right now. And
I'd like for her to bully him around a little bit.
Well, she can. Oh yeah. Okay. Did you? I put Nick Scutari put up a thing on the Democrats Facebook presence, and it was him, and I would guess I don't know who else, 2 other people, and her, and Mikey Sherrill in his office. So it was her getting to know the little get together with the Senate president in his office, and all smiles and comments. The first comment was for somebody who was homegirl right off the bat. Now, you don't take things down. In other words, the comment stays up because, it's a bad look to take things down that aren't flattering. So, but I really nicely said, listen, those days are over. Mikey's not going to be having it. And I said, I know that for a fact, and I promise you that she is not going to be having it. So you might want to find a way to let go the rope and try to get out ahead of it, as opposed to her making you do the right thing, Senator, that kind of thing. And I was real proud of what I wrote. I mean, I saved it so I don't have to go back and find it. But it reeked of confidence, like, you know what, your shit show's over. That.
There's a new sheriff in town.
That's right. And I guarantee, and I know it for a fact, she's not going to do it. And I've weighed in on some of his things before, really nicely, but it's kind of between him and me. He's reading it the way I mean for him to read it, and it's going over other people's heads, Usually I like agreeing and then sort of rephrasing it a little bit. Well, yeah, that's a good way of putting it, but it means something more about what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, at some point though, I would say I'd be for not having Rattari on the first one, and I would also suggest maybe we should have a wintertime podcast to welcome her. What do you think of that? A January podcast?
Be a little chilly.
Yeah, that means that we're committed and tenacious.
Well, I know that.
No, I know, but it's a good look. It always looks good when we show up in the rain.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's almost like without having any real plans, if he saw a weather week anytime after she takes office, now that we, as far as I know, can be out in front of the State House, and her office, I'm guessing, is going to be down at the end of the block still. I don't, whatever. But to be in front of the State House with a welcome Mikey Sherrill podcast on a day when, you know, it's not even going to be below freezing. It'll be calm, no winds, and the temperature will be 39. You know, would you physically
With
be
no
able to
wind.
no, but Lefty, would you physically be able to do that or not? I mean, you know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
But you see the vision that I'm looking at look from her angle. You know, we've been there forever. You know, we were there. You know, well, before Governor Christie, were we? Yeah, yeah. When it might catch her eye because it is winter and we don't do it. It would be the first winter Sativa Cross podcast. You know, I'll whether it be a podcast or not, I'll show up for something. I mean,
When is Inauguration Day?
11, maybe, I think. I'm
should
pretty
do it
sure the
We
11th.
should do an Inauguration Day.
Yeah. Well, I've been to Inauguration Days. I was inside for Christie's second one. I mean, right inside, you just walk in because the State House opened that day. You know, you say, I'm going on down to the Jersey Cafe. Yeah, but yeah, that would be it'd be good to have a presence there. I don't mind. I mean, just simply the presence meeting is fine, but the one with Chris Christie is Jim Price, and we got there 2 hours early, and I had to hurt my feet pretty bad, so I was limited walking pretty stiffly with a cane, you know, and obviously. So we were right outside the governor's office, the way that they would be walking back deeper into the, you know, because that was right by the door on the right. And we were there 2 hours early, hanging out in the right place. We were the first people he got to. There was press on the other side of the hall, but they were more down even further. So it was almost laughable, the pomp and circumstance. I come out, all the living governors were there as well. So I got to, talk with Brendan Burns, a person with him. He didn't get to talk to him, Jim Florio, but they came out like of the office doorway, like this step, a ceremonial, 2 state troopers, and then 2 more behind them, and then the governor, and then behind him. But it's, you know, they don't just walk out. They're going like a military style procession. I mean, I'm kind of thing you usually have a casket with, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did like a 45-degree angle turn and took a step, and then another 45, you know, or one guy,
Yeah.
the other guy. And it was almost kind of funny and quiet. So when he got right up to us, before any press, I said, no, we're not done improving our medical marijuana law, Governor, not by a long shot. And he was like 5 feet from me, Jim Price. I got a 14-second video. I'll conjure that up. But it was funny because the guy Lefty in the brown suit that we always saw, the guy that was with Christie, he had a brown suit. He's easy to spot when he steps out on the front steps. Oh, Christie's coming. Yeah, he was with him. And he shot me a look, man. And, you know, Jim Price had the thing going above my head, so you didn't see me or anything. But it was like echoed, you know. And
Did you get an answer?
oh no, but it was like there was no need for me to even say it that loud. I mean, I wasn't screaming it, but it was close, and nobody was. And then the press would be mumbling as he walked by, you know. And then I went to what they had a thing going on at the War Memorial Auditorium. I guess it was the midterms in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed up with Gene Gatens, who was Megan Wilson's father. And he came for about his granddaughter, and I was there, and we were across from the War Memorial, and they fired. They had the cannons way on the other side, but across from the War Memorial is a big kind of like a field area, you know, and they were way back there. The press had a staging area back there, and then there was cannons up by the War Memorial, just, you know,
Hanging out.
yeah, and they're the kind of cannons that fire boom blanks or whatever, but they looked like they were pointed towards the media. And so when they started, one would go, and then another would go, and then the next one would go. It looked like they were firing at them. But yeah, we were there for that, and that's when I corralled Herb Conway, the guy that was screwing us, and he's the one that took it out, or optioned it out as the head of the health committee in the assembly in 2009. I had that issue with him, but it was Gene and me, and he approached without really looking up at what could be able to see us, and there was a whole bunch of anti-frackers there, and he wanted to come meet the anti-frackers. So he walked over to the frackers, the fracking frackers, and I kind of circled in and came up from the side, you know, and said, "Something in Conway, huh?" You know, and he grabbed my hand. Big mistake, you know. So as I shook his hand, I told him what I was here for, you know, and I was talking to him and shaking his hand, and it went on an embarrassingly long time. And at one point, he, you know, how you kind of pull your hand away like you think you might have a chance, and I just grabbed it tighter, and all of a sudden, then he realized what I was doing, and it was kind of fun, you know. So I weigh in on his shit on Facebook too, you know? But yeah, Mikey Sherrill, it's going to be interesting. She really could say, you know, it wouldn't be an issue for her or the governor. She wouldn't have to deal with it once she's governor if it had a hearing in the lame duck session of Governor Murphy.
Right.
So the idea would be for her to say, do me a favor, let this bill have a hearing before I become governor, because then if you don't, I'm going to have to ask you to do it right away then. And that's going to look bad for you. It's going to look like I'm telling you to, because Jim's going to make it look that way. Yeah. Somehow, you know, if there's I will be more like you, Liz, when it comes to getting in touch with her people. You know, I will conjure, okay, what would Liz do? What would Liz do? No, for real. I do that. And sometimes I if, you know, because it's not my nature, I just kind of think, all right, if I were an actor in a movie, what would I be doing right now? And
I'm a pain in the ass. Like if I don't get a reply, I'll follow up.
Yeah.
Then, you know, then if I see them on social media, I'll comment, "Ooh, check your email." And I don't care. I don't give up.
I wonder if that's a very a more positive quality in a woman than a man, because Andrea's exactly like that, and you're like that, and Kathy's like that. It's all, you know, effortless. And that's why she does, you know, I call them my better 2/3, because, like, you know, I suck at that, and she's like really good at it. And, you know, she was being good at it with a stove delivery not working out right today. Go get them, you know. Although I did rub off, you know, one time when it was in front of customers at Home Depot, you know, that's like where you deal with people at a decent volume, and all of a sudden you get better service. Yeah. I always thought if I had wanted to get a little side gig going, it's like, you know what? If somebody has something I can get into, like I'd say that sucks, you know, they could hire me to go stand out with a really cool sign and do their bidding for them, you know,
Listen,
because that might be not their strong suit.
I'm advocating for with these companies and the dispensaries to hire seniors. I have a challenge on Liz Lights Up for these companies.
That is a challenge.
It is because and you know, we are dependable. We have very good work ethic. We would be such an asset to any business.
Yeah. Well, you know, look at the movie The Intern with Robert De Niro, like a 70-year-old guy going back to be the intern. I like the movie itself, but it said something because he was exactly that guy. You know, he was cured for that after a lifetime of doing things that got you through your lifetime.
Exactly. And you know, a lot of these seniors cannot live off their not unemployment, Social Security. They also can't afford to go and spend a lot of money on weed. And you know, being in the industry,
they're capable. They're capable. All that you put that all together is why they are also capable of growing their own, because they would take advice from the people who would know.
Yes.
And they would take it serious and they would ask the right questions, and you know, it would be able to help them overcome if there's something that they couldn't grow that a dispensary they could afford it. If they grew for, maybe there's something, you know, that would work. All right, if it worked 90% as well, or at whatever upper percent as well as a dispensary, but you had a full supply, would that be better than something that worked better but you ran out of often? No. I mean, a steady supply counts. That's extra credit right there.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And like for me, if you could, I can't shut that up, but I could break it. Anyway,
what was it?
My phone. It's just I don't want notifications. Never mind. I could take care of it. I'm old. You know, I haven't looked into it.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
It's Oh, and I'm noticing there's one or two things in the last week about seniors and cannabis. You know. I mean, in some way, shape, or form, this is in everybody's head, you know. That's why, you know, your timing for what you're doing, historically speaking, is like, man, it is like if you were surfing, you caught the wave at the right time, you know. And, you know, that's why you really got your work cut out for you, because you're combining your natural tenacity and hitting all the bases with being on the right wave. So you never know, you know.
Let me tell you something. Miss Grass is looking for somebody to do their community, and I applied. I have a lot of community experience. I was a community manager for the Rachel Ray Show. I worked in Oxygen Media, AOL. I've done brand ambassador work. I've done all of it. And so I applied, and I'm very curious to see. And I even messaged them and let them know, listen, I'm a senior. It's a remote freelance position. So I want to see if I get anywhere with it.
Well, that's how you find out.
You know, there is age discrimination within the industry. Absolutely. I came across it 3 times when I applied for 3 different brand ambassador positions. And I was a brand ambassador for Keurig. I used to be one of those people that were in Bed Bath & Beyond giving out, you know, cups of coffee. And you know, so I've got the experience.
Yeah, and you definitely gotta it's interesting watching how this works out. I mean, because I mean, seniors have been the fastest growing segment of the cannabis community.
Demographic in the industry. Yep.
But for more than I think people, and maybe even I've given it credit for, because the first time that well, for me and Ken, we were at Princeton University. Oh no, that was a different thing. Of course, it was a Westmont Senior Center or something, and it was long enough ago, maybe 15 years, maybe more, where it was more, where you don't know, because, and there were the best questions. It was better attended than I would have thought, and I couldn't have had a more inaccurate idea of what it was going to be like, and that just kind of blew me away, and but it makes sense, for whatever anybody thought about it during their lifetime. When you start hearing the stories from other people in your own sphere, at a senior center or something, seniors can convince seniors of this easier than others.
And not only that, as a senior, you walk into the dispensaries and, I have tattoos, I have piercings, but I would still like to see somebody who is closer to my age that gets it. It gives it lends itself to credibility in my eyes. And honestly, I think the younger people would absolutely freaking adore it. But we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to offer. These kids today, and I see it in the industry, if you look at some of these, they've worked here for 3 months, they've worked there for 4 months, they've worked here for, 6 months and 2 months, and, they hop. And it's a huge disadvantage, because it costs money to onboard, to bring somebody on, the whole process and training. It's an investment. And, you take 2 months to train them, and the third month they're out the door, like, you get absolutely no return on your investment whatsoever.
People don't realize how hard the work is when you're in the industry. Like, if you're growing weed, you're spending a lot of time cleaning. You're spending a lot of time cleaning scissors and cleaning up the fans, and half your time is spent cleaning stuff down with alcohol and picking stuff up and moving stuff. And it's not like glamorous work. It's factory work. You're working 10, 11 hours a day. You're working shift work. You're working there's no holidays.
Yeah.
No days off, because it's factory work. So you have to keep the line moving.
On the bright side, as much as that might be a little bit of a shock when they realize that.
You're such a popular man today, Mr. Miller.
I don't even know. I just pressed the wrong button and went somewhere else, but it did shut up. People, it's different. Really different now, where people can become a success in a lot less than 10, 20 years of hard work. They can do it in years, and so it seems like that becomes the mindset, even if you're not one of those, I had my own company by the time I was 19, and I sold it, and it's going on. And man, I wish I had a chance to take part in that back in the day. Maybe I probably wouldn't have done it, but so that's why I would think there are a lot of businesses and situations where if they really made it,
could use seniors.
That's their best bet. That's who is best for their business. a lot for what you said as well.
You know, brand
and-
ambassadors.
they're not going to leave you for another company ever.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're going to be around a real long time, but you get your
You'll get your money back.
yeah. I would think there's plenty of that in the cannabis industry. For a lot of that, the work that we're just talking about isn't of an extreme physical nature, you know. And even within that, there is for people, there's work that would be well served by somebody that isn't as physically capable to do some of the other stuff. And nobody,
Yeah.
well, why do they get all the easy work? You want to trade places with them? No, you know. And I don't know. So I'm seeing, like, you know, I'm looking here at between the two of you, you know, it's like seniors and people with disabilities and everything in between, and who are cannabis patients. And since they're patients, it may be from a disability, whether they're seniors or not. It's a really good blend of overlap.
Mhm. And also veterans.
Yeah.
Happy Veterans Day to not only the veterans, but to their families who sacrifice just as much, you know, or sometimes more.
Yeah.
They're not recognized, and they're not appreciated. I'm very big on military families.
You know, yeah, they're getting long overdue appreciation, I think, in pretty healthy doses these days. I really do. You know, I mean, okay, we could look back to my formative Vietnam era days and graduating high school, and you better be going to college or you know where you are going.
You know, I had a cousin that was missing for quite some time in Vietnam, and you know, it's
the homecoming for them. I mean, it varied. It wasn't always horrible.
yeah,
But it was as disrespectful
it was.
as possible from people who knew nothing about what they were disrespecting, that you could not fathom it.
Yep.
Without being, you know, and
even within families, like I said, I had a cousin who was missing in action, and his brother, my other cousin, lost a lot of weight, so he didn't have to go into the military, you know. So you got different ends. It two brothers, you know.
yeah, I do know.
So
Yes, I do.
This concludes our podcast.
I love that. I just love hearing. I mean, like, it's almost like he showed up.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding us about the. Well, the first list is happy list. First list is thank you, Mad Hatter, thank you CMMNJ, thank you UFCW, Arlo Glass, Oprah Machine, and SativaCross.org. Liz, I have to talk to you later offline about something.
oh, okay, good, because I wanted to talk to you after this. We'll get on a call.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Just give me a call.
I got your number.
Yep.
Well, our list begins, and don't mind me, I'm just gonna mute the two of you for now. And our list begins. Cheryl Miller, Sabina Rose, Diane Ripatella, Gracie, Cindy May, Marie, Jack, Joan Ford, Randy Robertson, Polly Connolly, Bill Buckman, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ Perry, Roger Barber, Jay Oleto, Ella Bagelman, Hattie Koshel, Jackie Rickert, Anthony, Jake, Armando Fernandez, Felicia, Lynn Platshorn, Dan, Sean McKay, Joyce Fortini, Lori McBride, Frank, Brian Kuprian, Flo, Carl, Thorne Peters, Frank, Lorraine, Terry Harris, Charlotte Figgy, Cher Ford McCullough, Jaybird Brennan, Michael Dillon, Marley Sheen, Colette Carroll, Brendan, Red Blazer, Rico Valderrama, Lulu, Becky, Lawanda, Chip, Paul Campano, Lisa DeGregorio, Marcus, Gary Sage, Julia, Wayne Barini, Waxy Brown, Joe Marie Castellano, Jeff Oakes. Okay, I'm unmuting you guys.
You've added a lot of last names. I'm hearing more last names in the list. Am I wrong?
No, it's randomly placed there. I like the effect.
I actually don't have everybody's last name. People would tell me, hey, put my buddy on the here. His name is Brandon. Put him on here.
Yeah, it seems like there's more, though, that have last names than when I first started listening.
Oh, no. Yeah, almost none in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, and there's just something always somehow special to me that their names are uttered aloud in the context of something specific to their lifetime. You know? So it's not so much like the good old days we all had together as we had ties that bind us.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's connected by 6 degrees of separation.
So we all saw a similar light at the end of our tunnel, you know, with cannabis concerns and the miracle of the plant.
Mm-hmm.
The absolute literal miracle for those who are believers in miracles. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. You know?
It's not only the miracle plant, it is the salvation. Not only for us as medical patients and cannabis enthusiasts, but the other end of the spectrum is the hemp. You could put the concrete business, you know, in the toilet. And from what I understand, way back in the day, Henry Ford used hemp products in his cars. And in World War, I don't know if it was World War I or World War II.
It was two.
It was too?
Hemp for Freedom. They had a government War Department video. You know?
Yeah. They used it on their military ships.
Yeah, there was all.
You can do everything.
President-
Clothing, buildings.
George Bush the first, his parachute that he parachuted out of this plane with was made of hemp. That saved his life.
Yeah. So
Well, the fact that with the seeds, the technical name for the term is essential fatty acids. Essential. They're essential to our life. So the cannabis plant has the linolenic and linoleic essential fatty acids of two different kinds, and in a really, really optimum proportion. And I would assume it's soybean seed that is number one or whatever. But that's, and to me, it's sort of like the fact that there is a feel-good aspect to it is nature's way of drawing people, animals, to something. Well, much like sex, Scott had a big problem, couldn't pull ribs forever through sex, but how will they know to do it? Well, it's going to feel good. Okay. But then that's the balance of things. Maybe it felt too good, and look at, we got like 8 billion people in the world now, but it's sort of like with the cannabis plant. Yeah, that
this plant can do everything.
almost,
Just about.
yeah. There was one point where it was something else, another thing that we were discovering it was quite beneficial for. And it's almost like enough. It's hard to. What do you think? It's good for everything?
Yeah.
It's not my fault. You say that like it's a bad thing.
And it regenerates very quickly.
Yeah.
The turnaround time, for hemp is pretty damn quick from what I understand. I could be wrong. This is what people tell me. I'm no expert.
This is true.
It's a coalition for medical marijuana Tuesday too. Just I'm not saying like be there or don't be there, but just so it's not lost. It's the second Tuesday. They're
Yay! I'll be there. I always look forward to those meetings. But thank you, everybody. Hey, we'll see you on Thursday. Back at it this week. Have a great week, and we'll see you all. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Jim. See you all Thursday.
Okay, sounds good.
Here's the ode. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady in the glow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them. Thank you.
Thanks, Lefty.
See ya!
Hey, Liz.